Hey everyone, this is Sentry Troll, and today we're actually making a tier list video on ranking the Kingdom Hearts games. I know this is a completely different style of video than we're used to, but this is just a video I've been wanting to make for a little while. And if you guys are new to the channel, consider leaving a like and subscribe, and also turning on my notification bell. And to start the list off, we're going to be putting all the games that we haven't played into its own tiers. Basically, it's going to be all of the mobile games, the DS games. I've watched cutscenes for them, and I can rate them on story, so I'll go over that real quick, but we're not actually going to include them in the normal S to F ranking. The first of these games that I haven't actually played, like the game part of, is the 358 by 2 Days DS game, and this game right here has an S tier story. S tier story. There's no getting around that, but the only thing is I haven't played it, so that's gonna go into haven't played tier. This doesn't mean that it's a bad game, it just means I'm dumb and haven't played it yet. But the story for it is really freaking good. Everything to do with Roxas, Axel, and Xion is just so well done, and how tragic the ending was. It's a great story. It's probably my favorite story in the whole franchise, but I really do wish I played the DS game when I was younger. But for now, that's going to be in the haven't played tier. The other game I haven't played is actually Recoded. I believe that's what this is right here. This is a game I haven't played, and a story that I did not really enjoy at all. This is probably my least favorite Kingdom Hearts stories. I just don't like stories that don't really contribute to anything. This story would be probably F or E. Nah, this is an F tier story. The only thing that they achieve in this game story-wise is helping Sora remember that Naminé existed. That is the only thing that they achieved. They had a completely data-based Sora, which doesn't make any sense. The only positive and the only reason this would be like an E-tier story would be the stuff with like Pete trying to break into Mickey's castle. That stuff was pretty funny, but they just overdid it. That was like the only like storyline based in reality in this game, and it's just definitely my least favorite Kingdom Hearts story, and I would probably land it pretty low if I actually had played it. And then the last game that I haven't played would be the Union Cross Dark Road. I'm just going to include all of that in this game right here. I have not gotten around to playing the mobile games, and I never really plan to. I've seen some of the cutscenes on YouTube, and also like the cutscene movie that's included. I think it was Backroad in the interim masterpiece or whatever on Steam. Yeah, this is a decent story. It's intriguing, and I'd probably land it like C tier on story alone, but I know that it's a mobile game, and I just would not enjoy that gameplay. So I am like well versed on the story on all three of these games right here, just not the gameplay. So I don't really want to include it in the full-on ranking for that reason alone. But now we're actually on the games that I have played, which is all of these. So let's just get right into it, and we're gonna start with Birth by Sleep 0.2 Fragmentary Passage. Basically the demo for Kingdom Hearts 3. Playing as Aqua again was really nice, but I just can't rank it as high as some of the other games coming up. I wish that they kind of included it with Kingdom Hearts 3. Maybe it's a skippable like segment. I think that it would have fit that game so well, because it basically is another like Roxas introductory part towards Kingdom Hearts 3, the same way that was a thing for Kingdom Hearts 2. So I would probably have to put this middle of the pack. Yeah, it was fun. It was a cool little introduction to Kingdom Hearts 3. I enjoyed playing it more than some of the other games for sure. By the way, if I sound nasal, guys, I have been having terrible allergies, so that's probably the sniveling and weird sounds you're hearing from my voice right now. But I'm gonna leave it at C tier, but I might raise it up depending on how some of these other games go. Next up, we have Kingdom Hearts 1. Oh man. Please, no! No! Kingdom Hearts 1. I just finished playing the first game on Steam. On stream, too, mind you. Going back to this game on Proud Mode. By the way, all these games I have not played on Proud Mode except for Kingdom Hearts 1 and most of Chain of Memories. Kingdom Hearts 1 on Proud Mode is a hard fucking game. It's probably just a skill issue more than anything, but I had a tough time getting through this game, especially some of those early worlds, man. Like I'm telling you, you got Atlantica, you got that shitty ass Tarzan world. Oh my god, some of that was rough to get through, but it's just a classic, man. It really is just a classic. It's my least favorite to go back to, and again, it's just a skill issue. I know, I've been told it's a skill issue by a lot of people that have been watching my streams, but there are so many classic moments from this first game. It has the simplest story in the whole franchise, and that can be looked at by some as a positive. Personally, I like over convoluted stories. Personally, that's just a personal preference on my end. I just think it's fun to delve into like big lore, convoluted mess storylines. It's just guilty pleasure type of thing. But Kingdom Hearts 1 would probably land on, I personally would put it on B tier. And I know that's gonna get a lot of hate from fans. I don't know. I shouldn't do this. I should put this in A tier just because it's the game that started the franchise off. And I mean, like the end game, like End of the World and Hollow Bastion was phenomenal. Those are great worlds in this game. But to get to that point, it was a little rough. Yeah, I'm gonna put it in B tier for now. I'm probably gonna raise it though. Don't hate too soon. I see the hate comments coming in for putting Kingdom Hearts 1 in B tier. It's still a great game, but that camera is atrocious. And then Tarzan World. That alone brings it down to B tier. I'm sorry. That's just where it's gonna have to be for now. Kingdom Hearts 2. I mean, S tier. There's no going around putting Kingdom Hearts 2 on S tier. It's the best game. It's my favorite game in the franchise. The emotions that this game brings out are insane. I don't know what it is. It's just the Roxy storyline, Axel, everything to do with the organization, phenomenal. You have some of the best worlds in this game. You got Mulan, you got the Lion King world. Like, come on. These are iconic worlds. The only one that isn't iconic is that Little Mermaid world. That's the one thing these two have in common is fucking Little Mermaid worlds. But we don't talk about that. That's a small part, and otherwise, basically, perfect game. And I haven't replayed it yet on Proud Mode. I am very excited to do so because the combat in this game is probably the flashiest. Nah, that's Kingdom Hearts 3. It's the most satisfying. That's probably the best word I could use on that. And it's been a while since I played it, so I probably have a different opinion on it. Yeah, Kingdom Hearts 2, great story. This is where the story kind of falls off for a lot of people just because this is when it gets convoluted. I enjoy that. I enjoy when games, movies, TV do that stuff, and it starts here. And there's a game later on that I don't enjoy it for, the convoluted story of Kingdom Hearts, and I'll let you know which game that is in a second here. But Kingdom Hearts 2, it's a lot of people's favorite game for a reason. That's gonna be an S tier, first S tier. And yeah, we're gonna move on to Kingdom Hearts 3. Oh boy, I am going to get flamed on the comment section for this video. There's no getting around it. No, I'm not that dumb, but I'm pretty stupid. Kingdom Hearts 3 is an A tier game, better than Kingdom Hearts 1. Type what you need to type. I already know. Kingdom Hearts 3 is better than Kingdom Hearts 1. There are some heavy flaws with this game. Heavy flaws. But the overall experience that I felt while playing this game was like no other. This was the conclusion to basically the storyline set up by all of these games, and I thought it did a great job. Now, there are some big flaws in this game, as I said before. I think the pacing of basically the first two-thirds of the game is atrocious. There's basically no storyline up until the final third of the game, and I understand that criticism. Now, with that being said, obviously people are gonna say like 2/3 of the game are utter dog shit, but I don't think that's the case. I think this game has some of the best Disney worlds. So the gameplay and the fun you have playing those worlds carries the first 2/3 when the storyline doesn't. Because obviously you're just redoing all of the stories of like the Disney games. And for some of the worlds, the story is just like, ugh. You're basically like, you're playing it like beat for beat. So Tangled, Pirates of the Caribbean. Pirates of the Caribbean was rough with the story. What else? Oh, Frozen. Frozen, yeah, that one was rough. But the worlds are phenomenal. You start the game in Olympus, in the Hercules world, and that is basically a perfect world. It had a great variety in its scenery and just the graphics. It's like the most beautiful world in the game. And then you move on to like Tangled. That world is the best looking world too. Like all the graphics in Kingdom Hearts 3 are so good. And that's obviously not a factor into why it's a great game, and I'll get into that. It's just a very nice selection of worlds. And Tangled looks great and it plays great, I think. Apart from the story basically copying the movie beat for beat. Then you had Monsters Inc. Great world also. Had a fun original storyline to go with it, which is kind of rare for a late game Kingdom Hearts game. Frozen was rough once it covered the Frozen storyline, but I actually enjoyed the ice castle that Larxene makes. Like that shit was a straight up Legend of Zelda dungeon. I enjoyed that. That was fire. Probably one of my favorite moments in all the worlds. And then you had the open world, Big Hero 6, and Pirates of the Caribbean. It's just really good selection of Disney worlds. That makes the first 2/3 worth playing. Can't even forget about Toy Story. I didn't enjoy the Toy Story world as much just because of the mech suits. I didn't really enjoy that gameplay part of it. But apart from that, it's a pretty good world, especially like the start of it when you're in Andy's room. I don't want this video to be a defense of Kingdom Hearts 3. I could make a separate video on that, but the last third of the game is just phenomenal. Like, you can't even lie to yourself. If you had trouble with the pacing and like the lack of Kingdom Hearts story going on in the first 2/3 of the game, that all gets paid off in the last third. And yeah, it would be a B tier game for the first 2/3, I'd say. But that last third brings it up to an A. And then you also have the Remind DLC. I'm going to be playing those on stream, so stay tuned for that. It's an A tier game. It's an A tier game. We're gonna move on. We have 3 games left. Birth by Sleep. Birth by Sleep. Sorry to say it. S tier game. I'm not actually lying. S tier game. People hate on the combat. People hate on a lot of things to do with it. Maybe the world's selection. I love this game. The story in it is probably, I'd say, like second to 358 Days or Kingdom Hearts 2, depending on like how you look at that. But the story is really freaking good. Basically the prequel Star Wars trilogy. Nothing wrong with that. You play as 3 different characters, unique versions of each world in each playthrough. Combat is the best version, I think, of the command system that's in this game and in Dream Drop Distance. And to a lesser extent, kind of Chain of Memories, but that's more cards, and we'll get into that in a second here. I just think that creating the command deck up here was a lot of fun in Birth by Sleep, where it wasn't as much fun in these 2 games. Enough said, this is probably one of the hardest games too, with its boss fights. You would think would bring it down a little bit since I put Kingdom Hearts 1 down for its difficulty, but that's more in design and clunkiness in Kingdom Hearts 1. And that has to do with the clunkiness of it being the first game in the franchise, PS2 era game. This doesn't have that clunkiness. It's still, like, not perfect. It's a PSP game. But, as I said, Kingdom Hearts 2 isn't perfect either. They're pretty damn close in my opinion. But you get back-to-back bangers, these 2 games. Those are my 2 S tier picks. That is definitely going to be like a hot take in the comments, but that's just what I think. Next, we have Chain of Memories. Oh boy. This is where we're going to have to rearrange some things. And I'm not talking about the Game Boy Advance Chain of Memories. I'm talking about the PS2 remake of Chain of Memories. I guess you would call that port, whatever. When I first played this game, probably Ero. Gameplay, Efro. The storyline is intriguing, pretty good. I think better than the first game. That brings it up to Ero. Now, I don't know. I'm actually enjoying the gameplay a lot more than I did in Proud Mode than I did in normal mode. Now, I haven't gotten to the really hard boss fights, but I feel like I've gotten a better understanding of how the card system works in this game. It's a lot more thought-provoking than the first game when it comes to combat, and I kind of like that. It's a fun combat system if you can figure it out. I didn't figure it out the first time I played it, so this was an EF-RO game. Now, there's still flaws. I don't like the procedurally generated worlds, and it's a very, very repetitive game. So this would have to be D-Row now. Change of opinion, I know, but yeah, it's got to be a D-Row game. I'm enjoying it this time around. I did not enjoy it my first time around. It's still rough, it's still super repetitive, but it's a lot more fun. And I haven't gotten to the boss fights, so this might go right back down to F-Row and Proud Mode, but for now, I'm gonna have to put it on D-Row. And then that leaves us with Dream Drop Distance. This is a hot take, probably. I like it more than Chain of Memories. I don't like it more than the first game. Behind Birth by Sleep, point 2, Fragmentary Passage, 0. That's the only place I can put it. The command system is similar to Birth by Sleep, and they add flow motion, which I do like. It's definitely a little clunky with the flow motion at times. And I think that the Kingdom Hearts storyline around this point right here takes a nosedive. They fix it with Kingdom Hearts 3 because they kind of like bring it back to basics almost. It still includes like the Union Cross storyline, and that might be confusing for people that haven't watched those cutscenes. But there's nothing in any franchise ever that is more confusing than fucking time travel. There's nothing that compares to time travel. That single-handedly made it way more difficult to keep track of the storyline. Because now you have time travel, and you have different versions of past selves meeting up with future versions of their past selves. It's just a mess. It's basically Inception, because it's also in a dream, on top of it being time travel. That's like the story of this game. It's a dream within a dream, where they find out about time travel in a big twist that goes way back to the first game. Recoded is a very unnecessary story, so that would be my least favorite. It would have to be the next worst story after Recoded. And that alone brings it to 0. Some of the worlds are pretty cool in this one. I enjoyed the Notre Dame one. There was also a lot of forgettable worlds in this one. Yeah, that's a 0 game. And I'm actually gonna go ahead and rank these games based off of story, because I feel like it's kind of unfair to keep these down here when I'm basically ranking these on story more than gameplay. Apart from Kingdom Hearts 1, this would be A tier for story, but I'll go ahead and kind of keep that in mind. Union Cross, that's gonna be an Ero game. Recoded, F-Row. Union Cross, because it's actually an interesting story, but I just know that the game itself is not that great. And then Recoded, I heard has pretty good gameplay, but has my least favorite story in the franchise. So that's my F-Row game is Recoded. 358, 2 days. I've heard that the gameplay isn't that great in this game, but that story, dude. That story, it's gotta be an A tier. 4 games over Kingdom Hearts 1. I'm going to be absolutely flamed in the comments. I'm so ready for it. Please give me y'all's opinion down in the comments below on what y'all's ranking is, what you agree with, what you don't agree with. I already know that this is a very strange take on the Kingdom Hearts, at least when it comes to like ranking the games from worst to best. These games I feel like are universally like pretty low I know this game has its Defender Chain of Memories, still just recoded, but yeah, these would be pretty low. I honestly, I think the one hot take would be like not having Kingdom Hearts 1 in S tier and having Kingdom Hearts 3 in A tier. Like this would be a good B tier game if I was kind of going along with the masses, but I enjoyed this game a lot more than other people, and I disliked this game a lot more than most people. I think that's gonna be my tier list for the Kingdom Hearts franchise. Again, let me know if y'all agree in the comments below. If y'all stuck around this long in the video, again, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. I'd greatly appreciate it. And yeah, Goulet's out.